Alright, I am putting together this video for the sake of everyone who is in the 98 Trust Administrator Masterclass, and the purpose of this video is to explain how to fill out IRS Form SS4 properly in order to obtain the 98 number. So there are a couple of different ways to apply for this. The easiest is to actually call Internal Revenue Service at their 267 number, which I will provide a link for in the description. The document for the SS4 itself can also be either faxed in or mailed in. However, that will take weeks versus calling in to get the number, which will actually take a couple of minutes. And when you do it successfully, the representative will essentially give you the 98 number over the phone and then have the EIN confirmation letter mailed to the domestic mailing address that is listed on the form. So I'm just going to explain the boxes on the form SS4 so that essentially you have all of the necessary documentation in place before you actually try applying for this. So the first thing you are obviously going to need is a name for your 98 trust, which can be anything that you want. I advise against putting the all caps name as the name of the trust or even in the name of the trust. It can be anything. And basically, when you call the 267 number, the IRS employee that you speak with will request all of this information from the form SS4 when you tell them that you are applying for a new EIN number for your foreign grantors trust. So obviously a name is required. The next set of information which they will request is your name. And when they ask for this during the application process, you are going to give your natural name, which for several reasons that we are well aware of in this class is different from the all caps name. You actually would want to distance yourself from that entity as much as possible for several reasons. So the next two items that you're going to need are going to be a foreign address, so that the 98 trust you create will be a foreign grantors trust and essentially a foreign legal entity for tax purposes, which I cover a little bit more in detail in my course. However, what is needed is a foreign address, and the other thing which will be requested is a mailing address from items 4A and 4B on the form SS4. And the mailing address, when the 98 trust is set up properly, is actually a domestic remote mailing address. I use a particular provider for this purpose, which I've included a link for in the description of this video, and that is Anytime Mailbox. And what the domestic mailing address is it's private. It's basically the equivalent of a remote PO box or business mailing address, whose purpose is to both send and receive correspondences to and from the U.S. Internal Revenue Service so that our remedies can essentially work. And you will receive various documents from them when you apply for this EIN number. Most importantly, their EIN confirmation letter, which is important when you actually start setting up the trust checking account that goes along with the 98 trust. And I've included a link to the domestic remote mailing address for those who are operating in the US. It would be considered domestic. And my recommended provider for that is Anytime Mailbox. I recommend using the link in the description of this video when setting up the domestic remote mailing address. Any type of promo that they are offering or discount that they are offering when setting that up will be available through the link in the description. So that covers the two addresses, which are essentially used by the 98 Trust. It's principal place of business from items 5A and 5B on the form SS4, which are a foreign address, and the mailing address, which is a domestic remote address that is not your physical location, which is capable of both sending and receiving mail to and from the U.S. Internal Revenue Service. The country where the 98 Trust's principal place of business is located is obviously going to be foreign. It'll be the same as your foreign address from items 5A and 5B. And for the name of the responsible party, that is going to be the same as from box 3 and in box 7A. Obviously, that is your natural name, which is a distinct entity from the all caps name that was received on the birth certificate and social security number. Obviously, those things are a subject for a separate video. 8A, if you mail in the form, is no. In 9A, with the type of entity that is being applied for, you are applying for a foreign grantor's trust. The grantor themselves does not have a TIN number. If they ask who the grantor is, you are going to tell them that that is you, that you're operating as the grantor and the trustee for the 98 trust. And when they ask, do you have a social security number, you are going to respond no, because you are essentially the private 98 trust administrator who is a separate entity from the SSN and who is awake enough to be aware of that fact. If they ask the date of business that the 98 trust began, that is going to be the day you applied for the 98 number, which also will effectively be the day that you set up your commercial security agreement. And if they ask the accounting year, just say December for our purposes. And once you filled out the top half of this form, you are simply going to sign it and date it. After your signature, you can put comma authorized representative. However, it's not necessary to do that. You can simply put your signature and that will suffice. So that is an overview of the form SS4 and the process for actually applying for the 98 EIN number with the U.S. Internal Revenue Service. If this process interests you and you want to explore some of the more advanced remedies that are available for those doing the secured party creditor or various sovereign processes, my Discord server and a link to it is available in the description of this video. We post a lot of documents and content there for like some of the advanced remedies and processes that are needed by many. So I would encourage check out the Discord server for more information in that area. Think Forms 1099, think Forms 1040, 1041, all of that. It is on the Discord server. And if there are any other questions or if you're interested in this topic, please consider subscribing to this YouTube channel and also click the like button. I will occasionally update more content here as various questions become relevant for the sake of the 98 Trust Administrator Masterclass group. So I hope to see you on Discord, and that is all for the purposes of this video.